Hello. Happy Friday. Today is December 19th, 2025. My name is Riley Fullerton, and if you haven't heard, Netflix is winning the bidding war against Skydance Paramount to acquire Warner Brothers Discovery. Now, there's a lot to unpack, try to understand. There are a lot of opinions and possible problems. A lot of people are panicking, saying that if Netflix wins this war, even if Paramount wins, it's going to create a monopoly. Could it go to antitrust? Dude, I just want to talk about a couple of details dealing with like technical problems, why I think Paramount is going to lose, and why Netflix is winning. I'm just going to jump in, okay? Let's start with Paramount Plus. The main thing is to keep the main thing the main thing. With Paramount Plus, the streaming platform, their centerpiece is the platform, right? Because Skydance Paramount, they have theatrical films premiering in theaters, but they end up on Paramount Plus. They have cable television shows, procedural dramas, sitcoms that end up from live TV back onto the platform, where they also have original programming, primarily backed by Taylor Sheridan, right? All of his universes, but it all comes back to Paramount Plus. The problem with Paramount Plus is that it is in my humble opinion, the worst streaming service that Hollywood has to offer. Dude, if they brought back Quibi, I would rather be on Quibi, than on Paramount Plus. It's shocking that in 2025, and I'm not talking about the quality of the content, not the quality of the stories, the programming. No. We're focusing on the platform, the user interface. There are technical difficulties that I believe are driving consumers like myself away from that platform. And it's maddening. It doesn't make any sense. Let me just point out a few to you, okay? The first one deals with, I turn on my TV. Click, click, click. Paramount Plus. Click. It's loading Paramount Plus. Big old blue screen. Get the old Paramount Pictures logo, right? It's nice. It's loading. It's still loading. It's loading. My Wi-Fi's fine. Every other platform works perfectly. I've troubleshot it quite a bit. It's loading. Oh, there it goes. Oh, and then you get the structure, right? The systematic structure of you got South Park popping up over here, a Star Trek show, Blue Bloods, and the main panel that you start at, right? It's blank. It hasn't loaded yet. But then it shifts over to the second show, like Young Sheldon, the big, and you're like, I don't want to watch this. Toggle down. It doesn't go down. So now I'm mashing the down button, like down. It goes down once. That's it. It's terrible. It doesn't work. You're like, why? Why does it feel like I have a TV from 2007? You go to Netflix, Amazon Prime, Peacock, Apple TV. Every other HBO Max, it's all fine. It works. And yet, it's sluggish on Paramount Plus. Even worse, once you start watching a show every few minutes, again, in my experience, almost every few minutes, the play button pops up. Now, what is that? Why? When the video stream is airing, right, it's a lot of data to process. It makes sense for high quality. It's going to process. Maybe it's going to lag. It's like in a YouTube video. You switch from Wi-Fi to 5G. Maybe it's going to lag for a minute, right? But on Paramount Plus, unlike the other platforms, the play button just flickers. Center screen just flickers. Why? You don't need that. That's just a little glitch. It blows my mind that there's no one at Paramount. I mean, maybe there was someone, and then they got, they got fired during the Skydance takeover. There were thousands of layoffs, but surely there was someone going, "Hey, don't you think that glitch is obnoxious? Don't we think that an average consumer who spends more time picking out what to watch than watching something is going to click away from our platform just because they're annoyed by the flickering? People are impatient. Call me nitpicky, but if you want to form habits, you have to do so with ease. You have to make it easy for people to do that, as opposed to what they've done with live sports, with live football. This is the biggest red flag I can offer. I've made an experiment out of it. Almost every Sunday afternoon, I want to watch football. I'm a football guy. I'm a sports guy. So I go on to Paramount Plus for the 3:25 Central Time Zone time slot to watch a football game. And I click on it, and I can't watch the football game. Not every time, but most of the time, I'm met with a blue screen. And I am met with, I can hear the broadcast, but I can't watch it. So I go, do I have cable TV? Right? And I switch to cable TV. Clear as day. There it is. Maybe it's not the same game, but at least it's something. And so what I'm getting at is, if I was on the board for Warner Brothers Discovery, I think in the news it's very easy to like focus on the buzzwords, like shareholders and the share value and the money and the payouts and the exact. For sure, if you're a decision maker at WBD who cares about the future of your programming, dude, how do you look at the infrastructure at Paramount Plus and go, yeah, for sure, we are putting our assets into safe hands, as opposed to Netflix, who in a lot of ways can do no wrong in this regard. I mean, dude, last year the NFL football Christmas games premiered on Netflix for the first time, and it was beautiful. I was pumped watching, going, man, how is this going to go? Is this going to be a bomb? No. Smooth sailing. Easy to watch. No problems. Now, I'm pretty sure that Netflix hired Fox Sports' production company to produce it. But dude, that's just a throwaway detail. No one outside of myself cares. Consumers just care about, can I watch it? The thing that I want to watch. And on Paramount Plus, in my experience, you can't. Now, let's step back and focus on the perspective of Warner Brothers Discovery. For this company, what is their main thing? What are their crown jewels? In my mind, they have HBO, and then they have Warner Brothers, a film studio that has been at the center of a lot of these Hollywood discussions, okay? Are they better off with Netflix, or are they better off with Skydance Paramount? In my opinion, the best way to answer a question like that is to ask more questions. Let's evaluate the criteria. Let's define what we're aiming for, right? So how do you succeed in the theatrical film market? In my mind, you have to have better relationships with all of the players, all of the pieces. Do you have a healthy relationship with your top executives, top talent? Do you have a good reputation around town? Not just in LA, but I mean like just in the world. I mean, there are a lot of people in New Jersey, Albuquerque, here in America who are in the workforce. Do you have good relationships with movie theaters? Those are your distributors for your theatrical films, right? Do you have a good relationship with your consumers, your audiences? Are they wanting to come to theaters to watch your thing? Are they going to remember that it was your thing, your brand? It's easy on first look to go, well, surely Skydance Paramount's better than Netflix. Netflix doesn't even have a theatrical film division. That's not what they do. But when people show you who they are, believe them. And what has David Ellison, the new leader of Skydance Paramount, shown all of us over these last few months? Well, let's focus on his relationship with top talent. And again, there's so much more to this than just one soundbite. I don't mean to make a meal out of this next portion, but let's do it anyway. Who is the biggest breadwinner for Paramount when it comes to theatrical? Okay? Tom Cruise. Tom Cruise has made Paramount probably a few $1 billion with the Mission Impossible franchise, with the Top Gun franchise. Yeah, there's going to be a third Top Gun movie coming out, but that franchise was started by bringing movies back to movie theaters. Top Gun Maverick. I mean, this guy is the most important movie star of the modern age for that reason alone, in my opinion. However, allegedly, the relationship between David Ellison and Tom Cruise is not ruined, but it got hurt when The Hollywood Reporter most recently commented on this. Apparently, at some point during the production of the final Mission Impossible film, Tom Cruise went to Ellison asking for more money for production, and then Ellison said something to the point of, quote, Ellison suggested that Cruise find some of the money on his own. And if that's how Ellison is going to work with Tom Cruise, then what chance do the rest of us have? Now, I get it. It's a bad business model to carry around blank checks. But Tom Cruise is the exception. Tom Cruise is Tom Cruise. He's your top talent. He's the guy who got movies back to theaters. And you couldn't just give him what he wanted? Bigger problem, optically, you're allowing this narrative to go out and you're not doing any type of damage control by appealing to other artists in Hollywood, other people who are, panicking, and they want to get paid, but they're still going, would I want to work with, underneath a guy like Ellison? Really? Reputation, optics, they matter. Now, you take all of that and you look at the next bit, Taylor Sheridan, TV. They moved off Taylor Sheridan, or maybe Sheridan moved off Paramount. Either way, if I'm Warner Brothers Discovery and I'm going, okay, what's your relationship with top talent like? You lost Tom Cruise, you lost Taylor Sheridan. Why should we trust that you are going to be able to bring in the big fish? Not just the big fish in Hollywood, the next batch of great voices, storytellers. Is the only way to lock them down to throw billions or millions of dollars their way? Really? Because, yeah, they secured the South Park duo. Parker, Stone, and I believe as they should have. Those two are one of one. A singular voice in comedy and culture. But they threw millions of dollars at the Duffer Brothers, the guys behind Stranger Things. So they are leaving Netflix. They're joining Paramount Plus. Score for Paramount. If you correctly assume that they're going to be able to create great films and TV shows for that new platform, there's no guarantee. If anything, it's kind of reminiscent of what Netflix did with the Game of Thrones guys. Do you remember when Game of Thrones was ending and Benioff and Weiss signed a multi-year, multi-million-dollar business deal, an exclusive deal with Netflix to produce films and TV shows for Netflix? It was a 5-year deal. I fact-checked that this morning. Can you name any films or TV shows that those guys made for Netflix? Anything? They did Three Body Problem, an adaptation of a book. I'll admit, I didn't watch the show. I can't comment on its quality, but I'm pretty sure most people, compared to Game of Thrones, did not watch that show. So hopefully the Duffer Brothers do well at Paramount, but it could end up being a big business deal dud. And if that ends up being the case, then it kind of seems like Paramount is just following in the footsteps, the missteps that Netflix fell into years ago. Meanwhile, Netflix is dealing with innovation. Yeah, Netflix doesn't have a theatrical film division, but man, I'm getting interrupted by phone calls. They don't have a theatrical film division, but who says that you need to rid Warner Brothers of their people? They have a good thing going at Warner Brothers, and they're bringing in the Neon guys to help build out a new defined sector for international theatrical hits. They know what they're doing. At least they're trying to do something new. Meanwhile, Netflix, when we're talking about those relationships for the theatrical film market, what they've done recently is pretty good. You have to at least applaud them for trying. I mean, they put K-pop Demon Hunters into AMC theaters during a time in which the movies that were in theaters were not making AMC theaters a lot of money. They're putting the Stranger Things series finale in 500 theaters on New Year's Eve. They're creating an experience for the fans. I guarantee, I don't know if they're making any money from ticket sales, but they're not making any money from concession sales. And I would bet that all of those theaters are going to be pretty pumped that they have audiences on this night for an experience, something new, something different. And then, lastly, Netflix has already partnered with IMAX to have an exclusive deal with them to screen the future Greta Gerwig take on Narnia. It's supposed to be big and epic and built for IMAX. And, that deal has gotten a lot of scrutiny throughout the town over the last couple of years. But maybe Warner Brothers Discovery is simply impressed that Netflix was able to close the deal. Maybe that's one of the reasons why they believe Netflix will be able to close this deal. To have the merger go through the Department of Justice. For Netflix to be able to take on these assets and do well with them. And plus, now we're going to move a little more into speculation here, but one way that I think Netflix is going to be able to get through the government. Hi, sorry, my battery died, and then I filmed this last segment, but it turned out to be out of focus. So now it's nighttime, and I'm going to spit this out real quick. Here's the deal. We're going to have months to figure out whether or not this deal is going to go through, right? So rather than speculate, will it or won't they, let's just say it does go through. Let's just say it does. In my mind, yeah, is it bad? Is it good? There are a lot of arguments for each. But the one thing I do want to bring up is pushback on a take that Senator Elizabeth Warren stated on Matt Bellamy's The Town, which was a couple days ago. So, or maybe it premiered yesterday. I listened to it yesterday, and I wrote down this quote from Senator Warren. Quote, "I don't think movie production and YouTube Shorts are the same market. I think those are different." They're different in the consumption. They're different mediums of media, of art, whatever you want to call them, right? But the workforce is the same. And I think that's what's really difficult to navigate with all these discussions. Because we are in a day and age where it's very difficult to define exactly what it is we are all dealing with. Are we in the age of, is it media, art, entertainment, is the short form, long form, like, do you have to go to a movie theater for it to be a movie? Can we finally say a streaming film is different from a theatrical film? It's very difficult to define, right? But if you are a film editor, yeah, the dream may be to go work for Warner Brothers, to edit a feature film. But if you want a paycheck, it's probably going to be easier for you to hit up a YouTuber. And it's going to be more possible for you to get paid doing that. I mean, dude, if you were to go to film programs nowadays, we always talk about the next generation. If you go to any film school right now, I would be curious to see what the professors are telling their students in terms of, like, advice for career trajectory. If I were the heads, if you're being honest, how are you not telling your cinematographers, hey, go over and work in athletics. Sports drive the entertainment sector. Go over there. How are you not telling your screenwriters and producers, hey, do you have a double degree in do you have marketing, advertising, sales? Because those are the avenues that a lot of people in entertainment are going to go down. Because they're creative, but Hollywood's not, it's just not working for them. But I will say, I'll end on this. I have a little bit of hope with Netflix because this is wishful thinking, for sure. But the one thing that Netflix could provide that is not, it's not available, it doesn't exist right now in Hollywood, it hasn't for a long time, a creative pipeline. There aren't mentorships, apprenticeships, there's not really a path. You kind of have to figure it out for yourself, right? That's what everyone says. That's why, shocker, everyone's gone to social media, start making their own content. It's like, become your own brand. Great. Here we are. Hope you're happy, Hollywood. But in my mind, screenplay competitions are crocks of crap. Most film festivals are for the Hollywood elite, and they're just vanity projects for everyone else. But what is stopping Netflix now stepping into the ring, positioning themselves to be rivals with YouTube, with podcasting? What is stopping them from, over the next couple of years, from trying to incentivize new filmmakers to, I don't know, upload 10-minute short films, or just, films, and then they get to pick out some of them and platform them and basically tell the artists, okay, you're here now, good luck, go, find your audience. I think that the landscape of Netflix itself is going to change drastically over the next few years. I don't think that them experimenting with podcasting is experimenting. I don't think so. I think that they are shifting gears, and they are shifting them quietly, quickly. But I remain hopeful because they could do that. And they're already giving people opportunities, right? Like the smallest one, and I'll end it here. But one guy that I'm a big fan of is John Middlecoff. His show, 3 and Out with John Middlecoff, it's a sports show. He's a former NFL scout, provides a lot of strong analysis, especially right after games. He has episodes coming out on his YouTube channel after like Thursday Night Football, Sunday Night Football, Monday. Like, the guy works hard. He does really, really well. So, shout out to him for getting his payday and for feeding his team a little bit more, right, with this new Netflix exclusivity deal. Good. On YouTube, he has less than 100,000 subscribers. It's like 90, just over 90. And to me, I look at that and I go, oh, you're giving someone who has a lot of clear talent and hard work, who's getting paid for his perspective, and you're giving him a platform. Let's see what he can do with it. Personally, I think that's cool, and I don't know what the future of Hollywood looks like, but I'm excited to, at the very least, track Middlecoff's progress, and if I have to do it on Netflix instead of YouTube, I'm happy to. Thanks for watching. Comment below if you disagree with me, have any questions. Let's talk.